Good morning, Steak, and good morning, fellow Orlando Magic fans. Steak, how's that mic sound?
How does it sound?
You sound pretty good. Why don't you maybe bring it in a little bit more?
All right. How about now?
Maybe a little bit more?
Okay.
Yeah.
Stay with me. Stay with me.
Yep. You're good.
All right. How about now?
Okay, maybe a little back.
Damn. How about now?
I think that sounds good. I'll let the chat decide.
All right.
I think you sound pretty good though. Here we are way too early. Yep. What's up? Good morning, everyone. Temples are buzzing. Love that. The World Series is back on. Let's talk about that real quick. First and foremost, good morning, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in to the board review on Wednesdays. It has by far been our busiest days. The Twitter chat, YouTube chat, Twitch chat, all live, all buzzing. We got Javon coming in here in a little bit. I sent him the link a minute or two later. That was my bad. But Steak, you're a Yankees World Series ticket holder. Do you feel like you have any life?
No.
Wow.
I don't feel like I have life down 3-1 going back to LA. If they won the game in LA, then I think you could start talking about it, but you can't talk about it now.
Well, they're playing one more in New York, isn't that right?
Okay. So I apologize. I don't know why I thought it was back to LA, but either way, they have to win game 5.
Well, that used to be the format. It was 2-2-1-1-1. I think they do 2-3-2 now.
I actually didn't know that, but either way, they have to win game 5.
All right, maybe somebody can tell me. Good morning. Let's go. Yep. What's up, Pooch 824? I haven't seen you in a little while. Volpe, yeah, that was fucking awesome. Nuggets, never a doubt, dude. What a sweat on the squad pod. Is my guy Nutbuster in here, by the way? Nutbuster, if you're in here, I would appreciate it if you could update or let me know what you think the or I guess anybody in Discord could let me know what the squad pod record is. I got to get back to making a graphic. What a sweat on the Nuggets. How about Jokic assist, bang, Steak? I can't talk about NBA without bringing up your run on the underdogs now. You hit Mavs on the spread, Mavs money line. Is that 3 in a row? 4 in a row?
4 in a row.
4 in a row. So every night so far, I'm sorry, the last 4 nights of the NBA season, which is a young season, you've hit an underdog outright.
Yes.
Beautiful. Have you looked at the board today?
I have, but I'm not prepared to give a dog of the day. I'll say that.
Okay, you're gonna stew on it a little bit.
Yeah, I figured I'd do college football first and then get to the NBA board after.
Love that. Dog has been walked. Coffee has been poured. The temples are buzzing. It's College Football Wednesday. Let's go. Absolutely love the fucking vibes. Dog walk. Don't sleep on Steak. Them dogs are barking in the NBA. Yep, that's right. Here way too early. Got today and tomorrow off. Might just start pouring them now. Love that. Nuggets legacy cover. Feel great. That was awesome. Bring it in. Rotates it. I'm not sure what that means. What's up, Kings? Yep. Fuck you, Steak. You geek. I don't know what that means. Jokic, king of the court, was hard. Yeah, no shit. Jokic, assist leader. Steak, go. You read my question yesterday, you old man. Don't worry, I'm 35 myself. Sorry, I thought that was Pooch 825. Luka in fourth quarters versus Minnesota, never in doubt. Yep, Dennis Schroeder, bang. Oh, God. Fat Girls is never going to let that go, is he?
Well, Chipper actually brought it up in the Discord yesterday. Apparently, Dennis Schroeder had a big game yesterday, so the trade to the Magic is back on.
Oh, I was following it, and I was actually hoping. I was like, join the Discord. There you go. There's the link if you haven't already. I was actually sitting there hoping, like, he's got to chill the fuck out. I think he ended with 28.
Yeah, he balled out. He yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's good. Fun fact. Don't forget, anybody. He is from Germany. If you need another German player other than Dirk Nowitzki, that's your guy. All right. W Newsletter. Thank you very much. Schroeder averaging 30 points per game. So basically, if the Magic trade for Dennis Schroeder, we are legit contenders in the East. DJ, and you first half wagon plays tonight. Yep. 3-1. Boston Celtics 3-1. Him and Cam Thomas are fucking scoring the shit out of the rock. Steak, did you play any college football last night? There were 3 games.
No, I thought Texas State might be fake sharp, and they were, but I didn't have the balls to press Louisiana. I really wish I did.
Right there with you. I didn't love Texas State either, but what I did like was FIU. I thought they were laying a huge number, -9. And then unfortunately, what I ended up doing was playing the first half, and they sucked ass. They won it 7-6. I had 4.5. I saw that line went from 9 to 7.5, by the way. It's very funny because sometimes, I'm not rooting for Steam to lose. I'm not rooting for anybody to lose, quite honestly. But It is kind of funny when I think maybe there was some information about the God, who the fuck did they play? Who the fuck did?
I want to say that wasn't UTEP,
Oh,
right?
New Mexico State.
Yeah.
So there must have been something about New Mexico State's quarterback because money hammered New Mexico State. That line went from 9 to 7. Oh my God. Can you meet at 2:30 today? Fuck. Yeah, maybe I can. Shit, I got a corp text real quick. Anyways, I thought that was kind of interesting. And hold on 1 second, real quick. I got to do something corp steak. We'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. I got to lock in to see if I can meet somebody at a certain time because I got to go somewhere else and see if it makes logistical sense. I swear to God, dude, this happens. My fucking family is figuring out logistics for a wedding this weekend. My mom and my grandma are coming to town, and the guy I work with is asking me something about work. As soon as the stream starts, got a text at 10:29 and then another one at 10:35. You can't make it up. Anyways, all right, let's lock in. So that's good enough for the recap. We got a lot to talk about. I think we have games tonight, I would imagine. Isn't there that like 55-day stretch or something with
we definitely have games tonight. There's actually an interesting one, Jack State and Liberty.
Is see the available A lines. Oh my God. Okay, Jesus Christ. All right, let's see. L streamer. I still want to know about Steak being on Family Feud. What do you want to know about it?
It's real.
Dude, I was in the fucking crowd. Steve Harvey is a funny motherfucker. Steak did great. And I think your family won the first round, but you lost the second round, which was unfortunate. And Liberty Bibbity's playing tonight. Taj Bradley. No. Okay, fuck Greg. Yep. This is driving up the over-under. First piss break time for sure. Under bettors are in shambles. Yep. I've had 2 cups of coffee. I got a cup of tea waiting here right now. Good morning, handsome Mr. Budman, your highness. So you guys are having a conversation with each other. Steve Harvey, pride of Cleveland, Ohio. I did not know he was from Cleveland, Ohio. You learn something new every day. Although I do know that Dave Chappelle lives there. What's that, dude? Do comedians just love to live in Ohio? That's an interesting little nugget for you. All right. Let's pull up the board here. We have been doing very well in college. We are total ass in the NFL, but we are going to have a players only, DGen players only exclusive meeting behind closed doors tonight. We'll release the audio later in the podcast. You can subscribe, Apple, Spotify, The Board Review. I'm sure you can find it, and we'll release it tomorrow. All right. Great job in college football stakes so far this year. 35-18-1 is our record in the newsletter plays. We've been doing pretty well. We've been staying down. We have a 5-1 weekend last weekend. Let's stay the course. Really, not fuck around and change anything up. So Giovanni should be in here in a few minutes. Again, that was kind of my bad on sending him the link a little bit later. Hold on, let me see if I can get the fucking. Sorry, I'm having all sorts of issues today. A little bit of a rough start here. Okay. Here we go. A little Dak Prescott for your ass. All right. So you said there's an interesting game. Jacksonville State against Liberty.
Yeah.
Liberty at home -2. Jacksonville State has been a wagon. Do you think it's interesting because Liberty's favored?
Not really. I would have expected Liberty maybe even be favored by more, except they just lost to Kennesaw State, which is like the worst team in college football. And they lost outright. They were like 24 or 27.5 point favorites. So it's like one of the worst losses of the year because people were talking about like Liberty making a run for the 12th spot in the playoffs. Like it's one of the worst losses of the year. And then on the other side, Jacksonville State's been balling. So I really don't know what to like here, to be honest with you. The fucking Jacksonville State games have been soaring over, but Liberty kind of going under, especially the under at what the game's at today. What's it like 63.5 or 62.5?
63.5 according to covers, but the last Jacksonville State game did stay under, but Jacksonville State's offense has been unbelievable. 34-44, 63-54, 42. Liberty went over. Wow, that was their first loss of the season. I mean,
oh yeah, for sure. They were rolling. Like I said, people were literally talking about them maybe going to the playoff.
Oh shit. All right. Well, I'm going to say it before you do. Do we kind of like Liberty here?
Kinda, but then I guess my follow-up question was going to be, is it too obvious of a bounce back? Because it's tough, man. This is actually a very tough game.
No, because
Jacksonville State's playing so well.
4 wins in a row, 4 covers in a row, including 20.5 and 21-point spreads. Although I kind of agree with Logan. I don't know how to say that name. Logan 1 could be the over.
Could be the over.
Or is that even more? Is that even more obvious? I guess 63.5. It's not really doing anything.
It's a big number.
That is a big number, but it's the right number, isn't it? Well, actually, hold on.
No, Liberty. Liberty goes under that number all the time.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. That's a big number. Liberty can score. I think it's Liberty.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's Liberty team total over.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking.
You want to collab?
Yeah. And let's add Prime in there.
No, Prime can get fucked. Prime is well, no, he doesn't have to get fucked because we've been having success on any of his collabs with him. But I think we should keep collab to Texas only. Wait, where's Liberty? Liberty's not in Texas, is it?
No, it's not. I'm just fucking around.
Oh, okay. Tight spread with 2 high-scoring teams. It probably indicates either people scoring back and forth or no one scoring at all.
Yeah, 0-0 first quarter will have us all in piss.
It's in Virginia. I wit it. I just did too. I'm not sure what that means, Dre Day. Lynchburg, Virginia. Beautiful Lynchburg, Virginia. How could I forget? Okay. Hold on one second. Goody, come on whenever. Yep, we're rolling. Hold on. I think Javon was maybe thinking he should wait for 11 o'clock because we do shoot the shit for a little bit. Okay. Yeah, we're going to get right into it now because I think I got a little corp. So we'll hard stop.
Damn, it's Sick Money here. I was supposed to tell my story about how I got arrested at Chick-fil-A.
Sick Money, are you in here? You can tell your story.
I feel like I should before Javon comes on, but I feel like there, Sick Money's here. I don't remember how we were talking about Chick-fil-A, and I'm not as good of a storyteller as DGen, but when I was 15, not a very good kid, hands up, I got kicked out of my parents' house. I moved in with my sister. Right next to my sister's apartment, there was a Chick-fil-A. So I applied for a job at 15. I got the job. One random Friday night. Obviously, I don't need to tell you guys, like, Chick-fil-A is just busy all the time. And I was working in the back, and we were bored as shit. And my sister had a handle of vodka in the apartment, big handle of Smirnoff. And so I was like, you know what? Somebody cover me. I'll be right back. 5-10 minutes later, I bring the Smirnoff bottle back. We dump them into the Chick-fil-A cups like we're just drinking soda. Mix them with whatever you want. We are just get smacked. 4 of us are like 15 or 16 years old. The girl who takes the orders, like runs the drive-thru, she passes out. They had to shut down the Chick-fil-A for like an hour. People are like sitting at the drive-thru honking their horns. She passes out. So the cops get called. And the cops show up. Obviously, they asked where the liquor came from. There was no hiding that it came from me, and I'm fucking 15 years old. And this is the worst part of the story by far. So the cop asks, where did you get the liquor? And I didn't want to get my sister in trouble, but my sister had given me a fake ID. You know my sister, so you know how insane she was at this age. She had given me a fake ID, and he was a cook at the wing house where she worked. And I had his fake ID. So I gave the cop the fake ID. I was like, this guy gave me the liquor. So they went to the wing house and arrested that guy. Yeah, so I got arrested, and I got another person arrested that didn't even know me. Well, he knew me. He knew I was Jesse. Shouldn't say her name, but yeah, my sister's little brother. And so I got arrested. I got fired, obviously. That was my last day at Chick-fil-A, and that guy got arrested. And that's about it.
So you must have been, I mean, Chick-fil-A is known for being like an upstanding place to work, great hospitality, great service. You must have been the worst employee in the history of Chick-fil-A.
It was really bad, dude. It was really, really bad. It was really bad. I feel like there's a stain on that Chick-fil-A forever.
It's kind of funny. You were being super loyal to your sister, and in doing so, you were being so fucked up to this one guy who had no idea he was about to get arrested. I'm assuming he got off, though. Yeah,
he was fine. You want to hear an even funnier story? Later, his girlfriend, who he's now married to, worked for me at the club. And
that's great.
She brought up the story to me. She's like, this is going to sound crazy. She's like, but you got my husband arrested when you were 15.
Is he cool with you?
Yeah, 100%. I apologize, obviously.
That's great. W dap up and shake hands and move on. Good story. Did I know that?
I don't know. I feel like
I knew you got arrested. I guess I never really knew how.
Yep, well, there's the story.
Nice job. All right. My pleasure. But wait, what did you do at Chick-fil-A?
I was the guy in the back. I was actually really good, man.
The guy in the back? Well, did you
Guy in the back.
Did you make the nuggets?
I was making nuggets like crazy.
I have a feeling that you would undercook those nuggets.
Nah, I was crushing it.
Okay, fine. Fair enough.
I was probably on my way to Employee of the Month before the fucking Smirnoff.
By the way, I tweeted this as a joke. Somebody was making fun how you said Smirnoff. Where was it? It said Smirnoff? Smirnoff? No, it's Smirnoff. You're saying it correctly.
Must be my country accent.
A story sub bang. Sick Money gave out 5 sub banks. We appreciate you, Sick Money. Let's see. PN Lee's J Crew Intellectual Brain Cell. Interesting name. Skiggity Big. And UB Bulls 35. UB Bulls, you've been a long time watcher. Appreciate you guys. All right, W Story and W Steak. He's an upstanding citizen now, though. You've come a long way. We've both come a long way. W Improvements. That's why we give guys like Prime a chance. Although OG Sharp has had enough chances, I think, but we're not going to write him off yet entirely. Okay, let's keep moving. So I think we're going to collab on Liberty team total over 1-5 ATS. This feels like a game that might go over. Kennesaw and Western Kentucky. I mean, it kind of feels right to fade Kennesaw after just wait. Kennesaw State just beat Liberty, right?
Kennesaw State just beat Liberty, and now they're the exact same dogs to Western Kentucky. And
It's
Prime
sort
is
of-
already in the chat saying Kennesaw money line, which I can pretty much guarantee isn't going to happen.
I would personally guarantee. I don't guarantee anything. I will personally guarantee that Western Kentucky is not going to lose to Kennesaw State. The question is, though, are they going to cover? Who do they have on deck?
Here's the thing, man. They're really, really, really bad. Like, really bad. I can't believe they beat Liberty.
Who is?
Kennesaw State is horrible.
I think Liberty was just a total look ahead game. Liberty's going to come out and score 40 points tonight. Liberty team total over. I might put it in right now. WCLV. You know what? Hey, usually I don't get good CLV. Nuggets last night, -4.5. Guess what? They were 5.5 everywhere else. I went to the Action Network app. I clicked more lines. I looked at the spread and it showed me every book. Everywhere was 5.5 except BetMGM. I went to BetMGM. W not being lazy because I usually am pretty lazy. 4.5. They won by 5.
I know.
WCLV.
Overtime is crazy.
Yep. Javon, good morning. How we doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. I'm just taking a look at the jerseys you have back there. Jameis Winston,
let's go.
Evan Ingram. I didn't know you guys were on the over in the Packers Jaguars game. That was a legacy over. I saw that first quarter. We were sweating the Jags a little bit, and I didn't think it had a fucking pulse, to be honest with you. Who's the one all the way on the right? Is that Contavious Caldwell-Pope?
Yeah.
WKCP. By the way, real quick, have either of you two listened to Paulo Banchero's interview on Pardon My Take?
I haven't gotten to. Can't wait, though.
It's excellent so far. I'm halfway through. All right. So, Javon, thank you again for joining us. Appreciate it. We are talking about the 2 games tonight. We like Liberty team total over after losing outright to Kennesaw. And then Prime's guarantee is Kennesaw State money line. So that probably means Western Kentucky will win by 40. Any thoughts on these 2 games?
Yeah, I'm probably going to end up on Liberty. It's pretty hard to not take, I guess, the obvious bounce back spot, but Jacksonville State's pretty good. I mean, I'll take it for what it is. I'll be on Liberty.
Okay, fair enough. We can move on. Bobby Berg in the YouTube chat. Let's go. Jovan, love the Winston jersey. Yeah, although, spoiler alert, I might be fading Jameis Winston this week. We'll talk about that a little bit later. What's up, Prendy? Good morning. WKU Picks with Deej says WKU Kennesaw under. Ooh, or maybe just
I don't disagree with that at all.
I don't disagree either. I kind of like Kennesaw team total under maybe. Ooh, back to 2 team totals tonight. That would be the cutest thing and dumbest thing possible, I would imagine. Tulane and Charlotte. Tulane's a fucking wagon. This game's tomorrow night. 16.5 on the road, total 55.5. Does that total look a little low for these 2 teams? Let's dive in. So Tulane just saw a total at 70 and still managed to go over. They've been on a streak of covering 4 out of the last 5, also winning 5 in a row. Let's see, Charlotte here. I guess this is a normal total for Charlotte. If you're seeing 55, they just saw 56.5, 57.5, although they did go over both. And they've lost both. So they've come back down to earth a little bit after a nice little start, getting their dick kicked into Navy. but then playing and hanging with Memphis pretty tough. I would lean under in this game. Javon, you're a Charlotte guy. I'm just kind of making that up. What do you think about this game? Any thoughts? Any leans?
I don't have too much. I mean, Charlotte did just kind of go in and hang. I would say 2 games in a row because that Navy game, even though they didn't end up covering, it was a lot closer at times than I guess it seemed towards the end of the game. So, I mean, Tulane, I think they looked rusty out of the bye week against Rice. They got it together last week. North Texas sucks, but at least they can score. So maybe this is their destroy game on the road.
Steak, any thoughts? Tulane?
Charlotte, obviously, I think I would say let everyone down in the Navy game, and then we all kind of called it that when no one was on them, they'd bounce back and have a good showing against Memphis, which they did, but I don't think they're very good, and I'm not expecting a repeat performance really from Charlotte, so I wouldn't back them. I'm not saying to take Tulane, but I really wouldn't try to get cute backing Charlotte again.
Okay. I'm good on that. I'll pass on Charlotte there. No need to force anything. Although that is the standalone game on Thursday night. I might have to get down on that under. Georgia State and Connecticut. Connecticut's had a nice little year, right? Let's see. What did they just do when they were favored against Wake Forest?
To Wake Forest.
Ooh, they lost. Damn, I liked them there too. I almost took them. Bounce back win and cover 6.5 against Rice. Jeez, UConn has fucking. Is this real? They got the Michigan schedule in October. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games at home. How fucking comfy could you be? You know what? I'm just going to call it right there. Too comfy. I say fucking Georgia State, Georgia Southern don't give a shit about nothing but the Tide. They did just cover a 7.5 point spread. I like them on the money line now. Fuck UConn and their 6 home games in a row. That's horseshit. Too comfortable, too complacent in the state of Connecticut. Georgia Southern outright. That's my prime money line dog of fucking Friday night before we go to the next game. Javon, any thoughts on that?
Not too many thoughts. Probably lean UConn, if anything. I do kind of agree that it's a weird, comfortable situation, but I just don't think Georgia State is very good. This is like the first time in a couple weeks I think UConn gets to play a true like defense that I think is due for a shit kicking.
Okay. UConn's got a game at UAB up on deck. UAB is kind of ass, so that's not like any sort of look at or anything. Never mind. Steak, any thoughts on UConn?
I don't know. I think seeing UConn as 7.5 over anybody feels a little uncomfortable, but that's really my only thought.
Is that the case? Let's see. Well, they've been 17.5 against Temple and didn't cover. 6 against Buffalo. Yeah, I get what you're saying though. 6.5 against Rice.
Temple is Kennesaw level bad.
Yep, that's right. You've been on top of Temple. Okay, there's 2 more games on Friday that are actually quite interesting. USF and FAU. I mean, look, I know USF has come back down to earth after a nice little start to the season, but they got right a little bit with a win over, as we just mentioned, dog shit UAB. That one managed to go over 55. They did not cover as 14-point favorites at home. But after losing 3 in a row, you get back in the win column, and now you go and play FAU. Listen, I have been against this FAU team pretty much all year. First POD for me was Michigan State week 1, which sucked. They didn't cover that 11.5. But then I got my lick back with Army on the road in FAU. My takeaway from FAU is this, assuming there are no injuries, but Javon, you mentioned it, that Cameron Fincher guy, the quarterback, he's not very good. But Tom Herman sounds like the town drunk in his interviews. And I'm not over here accusing him of anything. I just want to be clear, but he sounds like he is whacked out right now. So I'm looking at FAU, and they did just lose 2 games in a row. North Texas at home. Let's see. They were 5-point dogs. They did cover. Then they were 4.5-point dogs against UTSA and did not cover. Both games did go over. The offense is looking good. 41-37, 24, whatever. I wouldn't mind just squaring up, if it is square, with USF on the road -2.5. Personally, Steak, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would lean FAU. And I think it's just one of those things where I feel like, well, first of all, like 3 episodes ago, you were saying much worse stuff about Tom Herman. And you were accusing him of being much worse than drunk. And so we don't have to walk back how you feel about Tom Herman.
Okay.
But I don't like USF at all. I've thought they were bad. even as early as the Alabama game, I think I told you, like, I just don't think USF's very good. People were high on the quarterback. People were kind of high on him this year. 7.5 win total, which is high for USF. And I've been sort of finding spots to fade him all year. I kind of think this line's a little telling that you can keep fading him, because even though, like you said, USF's not playing that well, this line's a little short, right? FAU sucks.
Yeah, but dude, USF sucks.
Their backup quarterback sucks too.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, what was his name? Brian Brown.
Well, Brian Brown's was the actual quarterback.
Yeah, he's done for the year.
No, I mean, I think his status is still up in the air for this week, but I don't know. I kind of want to get down with a revenge game for USF, because I think things were looking up last year, and then they got the shit kicked out of them by FAU. It was like 50-14. That was like one of their worst games of the year. It's like, I kind of think, even if Byron Brown, I kind of want him back in. Rare time where I think I'd buy good news, because I think he needs lick back.
I think I'm going to be in on that. Steak, are you going to be on FAU? Is that like a strong lean?
I'm not sure. It's just a lean right now.
Okay, because this is how I want to look at the game. I want to take Alex Golesh, the coach of USF, to beat Tom Herman. And I didn't even know there was a revenge factor involved. Line might be a little short. USF, I think, sucks. As Javon said, their backup quarterback sucks. I didn't even know he was still playing. I'm going to be on USF on Friday night while I'm at my second consecutive Friday night wedding. That'll be fun. All right, let's move on to the next game. 8:00, San Diego State and Boise State. Boise State, UNLV under was a play for us last week. We got there. Boise State came away with a victory. Hard-fought game. Now they come home, laying a big number against SDSU. I mean, just off of that high of playing in Las Vegas and playing in that game against UNLV, I kind of wouldn't mind fading Boise State. But at the same time, I don't know how bad or good San Diego State is.
Very bad.
They're very bad. Okay, well, let's take a look. They have covered 4 in a row after coming out of the season and not covering the first 3. So I don't know. I mean, look how tight these games are. Okay, Central Michigan's terrible. They did lose by 1. They beat Hawaii by 3. Okay, they're beating very bad teams. Hawaii, Wyoming, and Central Michigan are terrible. But I mean, losing by 3 to Washington State isn't that bad. Do you think you can catch Boise State sleeping a little bit here, Steak?
Not really.
No, you like Boise.
I like Boise and the under. I know that's a weird combination, but I kind of think it's Boise and the under again. I don't think San Diego State's going to score very much.
Well, San Diego State, let's see. In terms of the over-under, they're 5-2. No, I'm sorry. Boise's 5-2 to the over. San Diego State's 3-4 to the over. Okay, I guess that could be a little nasty to go back to a Boise State under. Good morning, Rambo. Connor Chiote says Dejan just hates Tom Herman. I don't necessarily hate Tom Herman. I just watched an interview and I'm like, I think this guy is drunk and on painkillers. That's all it comes down to. Crushed Warriors last night. Javon the go. Oh yeah, W's. I think I heard you, Javon, on BTL. That was your spot last night. Buying a little bad news there with no Steph Curry. Good job on that. All right, Javon, any thoughts?
Real quick. That is just because you brought it up. If Steph plays tonight, do we go with Pelicans?
I don't think he's playing for a bit. No,
he's not playing. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think he's out for extended period of time.
Ooh, that sucks. I almost took him MVP again.
That sucks. I don't know why. I thought he was fucking day to day.
Yep, Buddy Legacies. Yep. All right. They said 3 to 4 games. He's going to be.
He could still win MVP though.
B Pod double. Might play B Pod. Who the fuck is B Pod?
Podziemski.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. His ankle looked bad. Okay. Got it. Any emotional letdown angle last week from UNLV? Crezo, that's kind of what I'm thinking, but maybe that's a little obvious too. Could be a skull fuck. I mean, Boise, teams like Boise and BYU like could just be out for blood because they're not really that big of brands or respected programs, but I would still lean towards fading Boise. Steak says no. Javon, you got any thoughts on Boise, San Diego State?
I don't want to fade Boise. It's like I would be a lot more in on an emotional letdown spot for a team if all they didn't have to do is run the Heisman in front of a line that's much better than San Diego State's and rush a quarterback that has no idea what to do in the pocket the entire game. Just a little too simple.
Since you brought up Heisman, Travis Hunter's plus 200 this morning. He's the favorite. Behind him is Dylan Gabriel's plus 250. And I actually think that's a really good narrative for this game because what did he have? 140 yards and a touchdown against UNLV, and everyone acted like that was a bad game. So you see what he needs to do to win the Heisman is like he's literally going to have to rush for 300 yards against San Diego State and score 3 times to make a dent in the Heisman race. And I think they know that. Obviously, Boise State wants a Heisman winner, and this is going to be one of their best opportunities ever. So, yeah, I just think fucking Boise State bleeds his clock out and runs him a bajillion times.
I kind of like that. Javon, do you like that?
Yeah, I'm in on that.
Okay, I'm in on that too. I think I'm down to play that under. Although hopefully it doesn't go the same way the fucking Detroit Lions Tennessee Titans game went. Okay, I'm in on that. 58 right now. Let me just double check Action Network. I'm going to go against you guys. I'm going to take a stab at Georgia State money line. Fuck UConn and their 6 home games in a row. 58.5 is down to 57.5. I don't know when it moved, so we can't take credit for being a syndicate there. All right, let's keep moving. Saturday. Big game, big military battle here to start it off. The Air Force 0-7 ATS. Damn, that's too bad. Navy's good. Army's good. Well, I did just watch Navy get their ass kicked in the flesh, but they're still good. I'll give them the respect. Army is incredible. Army's incredible. 6-1 ATS. Love their quarterback. Love their coach. Total 41.5. I don't really have any thoughts in this game. Do either of you guys have anything on Army Air Force? If not, we'll just keep moving.
Don't fade Army.
Yeah. I do kind of think, especially after seeing Navy lose, I think that's a little wake-up call. Get on your shit before your big game. So I don't want to fade him this week.
Okay, the game against Notre Dame is 2 weeks from now. I was going to say, when is that? Because that could be maybe a look ahead. But yeah, Javon, you make an interesting point. And yes, turnovers did kill Navy. 5 turnovers. That's tough to win a game when you do that.
I know they've been scoring plenty, but still kind of feels weird to me seeing 41.5 in a service academy game. Just a little bit. No,
you think it should be in the 30s?
I mean, it's just so I'm used to seeing that. Even like this season, we've had them prior. Just
Yeah.
feels maybe a little telling. No,
There is a trend.
Yeah. I've said this. I think I said this to you guys before, and I've definitely said this to some people I talk college football with. I don't think they know how to cap Army overs because they're always crazy, and they keep going over the number too. I don't remember who they were playing when they were 53.5, but I feel like the three of us were like, man, that feels high for an Army game. And I think Army scored 50 themselves that game or something. I find Army impossible to cap.
I mean, that the total Air Force had against Navy was 37.5. And I know Army's maybe been scoring a little more points and going over more than them, but I don't know. That feels 4 points feels a little odd to me.
Army has scored in the last 4 games 42, 49, 44, 45. I mean, they have one speed.
Yeah, and the total for this, that's interesting.
Kind of funny that when I made Army my POD is when they scored the fewest amount of points in the season. Although it was really hot in FAU. They were actually cramping and gassed. I think that might be why. Okay, let's
Tom Herman probably gave him pain pills.
Surprise me. Okay, Memphis UTSA. I got absolutely nothing in this game. I don't think I've put $1 on a Memphis game all season. I got no read, no thoughts. Either of you guys?
Javon or did any of you guys see the UTSA game last week? I know it's a hilarious question, but did you witness it?
I kept tabs on it. I've been keeping tabs on them secretly because, the Gen, how much I talk about UAB being horrendous and just a much worse ball club than we think. UTSA might be worse.
When I tell you this story, you're going to think that I had them -8, I think, which is crazy. I just thought it was insane that they were.
I was on the other side, and I was
UTSA. So you know what happened?
They were up. I was on my knees.
They were up like 30 going into the fourth, or they were up 28 points going into the fourth quarter?
Yeah, it was.
And they lost outright. DJ
7 at halftime.
UTSA did?
Yeah, look at the game. You got to pull it up. It was so gross. I didn't know Javon was on the other side.
Against Tulsa?
Yeah. Look at the game. It was like I don't remember this. It was like 40 to something crazy.
Dude, they were up 35-7 at halftime.
Yeah, I had -8.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened? 74-yard passing touchdown. Wow. Just a ton of passing touchdowns, huh?
So if you want to back a team like this after Memphis just had a dogfight with Charlotte, go ahead. I can't fucking do it again.
They had 550 yards of offense and 26 first downs and lost. Oh my God. Dude, they didn't even throw an interception. That's insane. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a tough beat. Okay, so UTSA is fucking terrible. That's what we've gathered from that. Maybe Memphis? Okay,
Maybe.
doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
Let's keep moving. All right, here we go. Northwestern and Purdue. We faded Northwestern last week with Iowa. It was kind of a smash spot there. Northwestern can't really, they can go to Maryland and snag a win there on a Friday night in a weird spot, but not a good team. That was more about a get right spot, a get back spot for Iowa. This is a battle of the pathetic losers. All right. So which team is the lesser of the two pathetic losers? My gut tells me it's Northwestern. That's what my gut tells me. If I had to play this game, total is 47. Let me ask you this, gentlemen. Is this maybe one of the grossest overs on the board this weekend?
Thank you for saying it.
I don't know. You want to thank me yet, but is that, I know that's where your stupid, disgusting brain is, isn't it?
Well, if you were scrolling and saw this game was at 41, would either of you be surprised?
No.
47 is high, man. It's actually high as fuck.
Well, let's see something real quick. For what it's worth. Oh, hold on. I think we have some. Javon, by the way, I'm testing out this strategy in hockey. Two teams that both lost and one of them gets shut out. Love the over the next game. I'm just monitoring. Last night, Rangers. Caps got shut out.
Yeah.
Oh, I take that back. I keep forgetting. I thought the Rangers last game was a loss against the Panthers. They beat the Ducks. All right, scratch that.
Yeah.
But here's where I'm at. That's where my brain is looking. I'm going to be looking. This is what we have here. Northwestern and Purdue coming off losses and Purdue getting shut out. Total 47. I'm so fucking in on the over.
Yeah,
it has
to be the over.
Rumors of a Cornfields 5 banger. Yes, indeed. Corn, you are a man of your word. He said he was going to drop 25 subs. He gave out 20. He said, I'll be back for the other 5. I am Liquors, Derek Burgess, Adidas King, Tura Vintage, and Rise Zings with some subs. W Cornfields, appreciate you as always. Couple new followers too. Bonanza 2115, Papito Suarez TV. You like that I said that without any mistakes. W's, thanks for tuning into the board review. Going through college football with Steak and Javon on Wednesdays. All right. Javon, any thoughts on Purdue Northwestern?
I'm going to get involved with that over. I'll tell you that much. It's like not even granted, Northwestern did give up 40 to Iowa. That did kind of happen, but they didn't score an offensive touchdown. So two teams who didn't score an offensive touchdown playing each other, 47 total.
Ooh, this is interesting. That second to last sentence, one shot at getting a conference win.
You know what, too? You know
Something to
why
play
I think that's even more important? Because after watching that Oregon game, they didn't even try to throw the ball, even when they were down. Throughout the entire game. They didn't give a shit about that game. They ran the ball like they were already down 30 and with 2 minutes left when it was the second quarter. So, yeah, they better bring out all the stops for this game.
Okay. I'm fucking in.
I love it.
I love it too. All right. Virginia Tech and Syracuse. Man. These are like two teams that I feel like you don't really want to get in front of right now. Although I do think Syracuse just got their nuts kicked in.
They did. And Kyle McCord had his by far worst game of the season.
Yep. That was actually a decent read. I remember I wanted to play the under in Pitt and I played the over in Old Dominion and I couldn't bet this fucking game because Syracuse is in New York. Stupid rule. But anyways, Virginia Tech is laying 4 on the road. Dare I say that's a lot of respect. After beating the shit out of Boston College, took care of business against Georgia Tech, game soared under, still covered an 11-point spread. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's the right number, but at home, I guess Syracuse did. Wow, Syracuse has been on the road the last 3 weeks. Oh, they had a bye in between. Okay. But at home, they've been pretty good to start the year. But now the more I look at it, I don't know. Has Syracuse really beaten anybody? Like going to UNLV is a nice win, I guess. I think that was that new quarterback's first game too, if I'm not mistaken. But
that was their win of the year for sure.
That was their win of the year. Is Syracuse maybe not as good as we'd like to think they are? I think they look like a bit of a cushy home dog. People might expect them to bounce back. I'm leaning Virginia Tech. We'll switch it up. Javon, you got any thoughts on Virginia Tech, Syracuse? I feel like you have to.
Yeah, I will say we were talking about college football plays just shooting the shit like before we started BTL one day, and first thing came out of Crab's mouth, Syracuse +4. And love Crabs, but Virginia Tech, he's got him right sometimes this year, but maybe his kryptonite. I just think I'm with you. I think it looks incredibly comfortable, and I don't think this is as obvious or shouldn't be an obvious bounce back spot. And I don't like it.
I think Syracuse maybe is just not that good. And I think Virginia Tech is a team that people were high on in the offseason, had a slow start to the year, but I think they're starting to get right. And I think they're in the groove. So Steak, I hope you align, but if you don't, let's hear it.
I don't necessarily align, but doesn't mean I'm taking Syracuse. I don't think people feel strongly about Syracuse as maybe you seem to think they do, especially after that Kyle McCord performance. I feel like maybe their stock is the lowest it's been all year after that. But doesn't mean I like Q's, but I don't know that I'm going to be getting there in Virginia Tech.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. The only other thing I like too is part of the reason I wanted to lean into Virginia Tech earlier this year is after losing the first game of the year on the road at Vanderbilt. I always feel like that's kind of a wake-up call for teams. Well, now we know that Vanderbilt's actually a fucking sneaky wagon. But I like them to be road warriors when they go out. And so far, they covered and won at Old Dominion, -16. They covered and almost won at Miami. They covered and won at Stanford. So 3-1 ATS. Or 3-0 ATS after that loss to Vandy. I'm going to lean into Virginia Tech being road dogs the rest of the year. That's going to be a play for me. Likely, we'll see what happens with that line though. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's see how are we doing on tempo and pace. 11 and 12. I think we're fine. Buffalo and Akron. I have no thoughts on this game. No opinion. Anybody feel free to speak up. Total 48. Nope. Okay. If your heads go sideways, I'm just going to keep moving. Minnesota on the road, laying 3. Is that a lot of respect? Laying 3 to Illinois. I mean, Illinois has been kind of good this year. Although Minnesota's 6-1-1 ATS. Shout out PJ Fleck. I think the guy's a fucking weirdo, but maybe he's got him rowing the boat over there. Illinois is coming off of a loss to Oregon, but that's not really anything surprising. Didn't come too far off from covering that 23-point spread. I guess you can say per the odds. I mean, it was fairly expected. They didn't get like totally embarrassed or anything. And then before that at home, they beat Michigan outright. And they almost blew it against Purdue. That's not really anything impressive, but am I crazy for thinking that this is a lot of respect for Minnesota, or is Illinois a live home dog state?
You got to scroll through what Minnesota's been doing. Don't ignore that. They're balling.
Okay, let me look. Yeah. You're right. They did beat USC. That has been something to take advantage of this year, is these former Pac-12 teams in this unfamiliar territory. They beat USC. They covered but lost at Michigan. That they were actually down the entire game. At UCLA. Oh, that was a bitch. We had UCLA in that game, didn't we? +4.
It was a bitch for sure. But then they just hung 48 on Maryland.
They hung 48 on Maryland. That's true. They did hang 48 on Maryland. So I feel like you're mentioning that because you don't want to be as high on Minnesota as I'm high on Minnesota in this game.
I just don't think the line is that much respect. I also want to mention, like, I watched the Illinois-Oregon game. Oregon dominated, and if they wanted to win by 50, they could have won by 50. They kind of took their foot off the gas. Actually, earlier than I thought they would, considering, like I said, Dylan Gabriel's kind of skyrocketing back up the Heisman boards. I was surprised how quickly they took their foot off the gas.
You think if this game was on a neutral, we're saying Minnesota's probably a 5.5 point favorite. If it's in Minnesota, maybe they're 7.5, 8 point favorites. You think Minnesota being an 8.5 point favorite against Illinois at home, Illinois went on the road and beat Nebraska. You think it's the right line?
I think actually when you put it that way, I can sort of see your point.
I think 3 on the road is a little bit of respect. I'm going to see where it opened. Javon, any thoughts on this game?
I feel like the line's kind of fair. Like I remember seeing that Michigan game. Like they closed Michigan as like 5.5, 6 point favorites on the road against Illinois 2 weeks ago. So I mean, seeing Minnesota get 3 points less, I'm not all that shocked by that personally.
I guess that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so maybe I'm off on this. I'm trying to see what the opener was. It's not the opener. We talked about last week saying we didn't think Vegas really knew how to read Minnesota. Yep. Find me someone who is getting rid of their own team crap. Sure, shit ain't DJing. Oh, fuck off, brother. Magic win total over last year, 5 units. Rays over win total, 7 units last year. Suck my ass. Anyways, Shout out Paulo Banchero, triple double hook, by the way, Steak. I'm assuming you're going to do that every game, right?
I have to. That was brutal, though. That really felt like my moment.
7:23 left in the fourth. I retweeted it for the vibes. And I don't think I parlay safari'd you, though.
I don't even know I don't know what that means.
Oh, he would like cash bets when there's like 7 minutes left. I don't think he does it anymore, but I almost fucking lost my shit when it was like Georgia versus Tennessee after Tennessee beat Bama a few years ago, and Georgia was like -7. There was like 6 minutes left, and Georgia was up 14. I was like, please don't. Get some knee pads, little bro. I don't know what that means. Okay, we'll keep moving. I kind of lean Minnesota. I don't think I'm going to lay it on the road because kind of fuck Minnesota. Here are a couple good games at noon. Wow, we got a nice little slate on a Saturday. This will be great. I'll be nice and hungover watching them. Ole Miss at Arkansas. My initial thought here is Arkansas with the points, but I know what's happening. I'm getting duped. My public brain is creeping in. I'm getting duped. Just faded Ole Miss successfully. Shout out Prime collab on Oklahoma. But I do have to say, after following that game, Ole Miss woke up. And I think Ole Miss is going to stay up. I think they go in here and they probably beat the brakes off Arkansas State.
It's funny because realistically, every time we do this, I talk about how I don't really like Ole Miss and how I think Arkansas is better than people give them respect for. Now I'm sort of going back. I feel like people are sort of getting off the Ole Miss train a little bit and getting on Arkansas. I like Ole Miss. I like offense from Ole Miss. And I do think this is a game where they roll. It sucks. I need one more loss. Obviously, for me, it has to come in the Georgia game against Ole Miss. But I don't think this game's even close, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Ooh, Ole Miss plays Georgia next week.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we skipped that map, but I'll go back and make sure.
We didn't skip it.
Javon, Arkansas, Ole Miss. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm kind of in between a rock and a hard place because I don't like Arkansas and I really don't like Ole Miss either. I think Ole Miss, I think the gadgets wear off. And granted, they did start to put it together towards the second half or end of the second half against Oklahoma. I just don't think Jackson Dart's that good. I don't think that offense is that good. I think that game probably goes similarly to how the Oklahoma game did, where it's close and contested, low scoring for a while, and they eventually probably pull away and win by 10.
So I just want to be careful about something. You said you liked Ole Miss offense in here. The last time I liked them on the road, I did the same exact thing when they were in South Carolina. I don't know if you remember that. I think it was like the same spread too. And I said, actually, you know what? I don't want to fade South Carolina. I like Ole Miss offense. And I took Ole Miss over team total. It was like 30.5. And they got out to like a fucking 24-3 lead. And they ended at 27. Yeah. So be careful getting cute with Ole Miss, especially with Georgia on deck. If they take their foot off the gas or something, I would just lay it with Ole Miss here, if anything. Total 53.5. Yeah, they could sneak under that, giving me deja vu. All right, here's an interesting one. I have some thoughts. And Javon, I want to give you credit. Duke and Miami. Miami -21, 54.5. I think Miami ended up sneakily covering against FSU. It was a disgusting game. Oh, no. I thought it was at 21. It was 23. They did not cover.
FSU sneakily covered.
FSU snuck it in. All right. It did stay under 54.5. So, Javon, the credit I'm going to give you is with Duke and SMU. I loved SMU because we had Duke -3 against FSU. And after watching that game, I got to tell you, I felt pretty fortunate to come away with the cover. Not that FSU did anything to really deserve the win, but because Duke's defense played pretty well. But I thought Malik Murphy was terrible. That offense was fucking awful. And all I said to myself was, I got to fade Duke. Like, I got to fade Malik Murphy. I wanted to lay it with SMU, and you kept me off. I even texted Steak and Greg. I said, I liked SMU. I didn't play it because I respected Javon's position on Duke. Let's see how it plays out. Then, of course, when SMU was like driving down the field in the first drive, I was like, God damn it. And then they fumbled like fucking 4 times. So nice job there. Duke does lose the game in overtime 28-27. I think maybe this is my spot. I want to fade Malik Murphy and the Duke Blue Devils. You're shaking your head, yes?
Yeah. I think it's the first time all year I'll be betting Miami. Doing it with a smile. I do think, like, I was like half watching because we had the multicast up for that Miami Florida State game, Cam Ward was bad in that game. Like you won't even see it just by looking at the box score. He was bad. Like he could not make a throw. He looked a little rattled under pressure for maybe the first time ever. I think that was their wake-up call game. It's a weird little rivalry game, but like they couldn't do much of anything, and they got fortunate with a couple penalties to kind of open it up towards the end, but I think they beat the piss out of Duke.
No Manny Diaz revenge game?
I was just going to say that. He is coming back, former defensive coordinator. Oh, wait, was he the head coach at one point?
Yeah, he was head coach.
Yeah,
right?
head coach, that's right. He was the defensive coordinator at Penn State after, my bad. Steak, are you buying into the Manny Diaz revenge game?
I think I'm buying into defense. That's what I think. I don't think I can buy into Duke having a shot in this game, but I can buy into Manny Diaz having a good enough defensive game plan that this game goes under.
I really like Damian Martinez. You're right. I'm looking at the box score now, Javon, because I did not pay attention at all to the FSU game on Saturday. 215 yards, no touchdowns for Cam Ward. Damian Martinez, though, 15 carries for 15 carries for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns. Big fan of his. Also, I guess he splits the backfield with some guy named Fletcher. Didn't know that. Okay.
Fletcher.
I can get down with defense. So, Steak, you like this under? It is what, 54? I'm seeing 54.5. It did go under last game. You think it goes back to back? Oh, it opened 51.5. It's up to 54.5 now.
I like the under. Yeah.
Okay, you like the under. Javon, you like Miami. I'm kind of with you. I like Miami on this too. All right, here's the game of the day. I was going to say maybe the game of the day. I think it's probably hands down the game of the day. We'll see what happens a little bit later in the slate. But Ohio State, Penn State, both teams 3-4 ATS. Ohio State 3.5 on the road. You know I'm no injury expert. Steak isn't either. Before we talk about this game, does anybody know if Drew Aller is at least expected to play?
Expected to, yeah.
Okay. I didn't even see what happened. Was it a bad injury?
I didn't see it. I just know he came back out with a fat knee brace.
And he was walked off screaming at everyone. Did you obviously saw that?
I didn't. No.
Yeah, he was fucking yelling at everyone. I don't know exactly who it was directed to, whether it was coaching or teammates, but he was screaming at people on the sideline. Is this gamesmanship at all, do you guys think? The fact that we've kind of feels like they're being very quiet about Drew Aller? I can't find that many updates. I search Twitter like randomly every once in a while just because I want to hear an update, and I feel like there's not many.
Everybody's saying you won't know until kickoff.
Exactly. But why?
Yeah.
It feels like a little bit of gamesmanship to me.
Probably is.
Can I tell you what that makes me think?
Ohio State's going to fuck them up.
Dog walk them, because I don't think you fucking behave like that unless you know you're outmanned. And I do think Penn State's outmanned, especially if Drew Aller's banged up. I saw the Will Howard shit about how he grew up a Penn State fan and they didn't want him. And I don't really love buying narratives like that, especially with guys like Will Howard, who I don't think have dog. But in this instance, when I think has the much more talented roster, I think earlier in the week I was leaning Penn State. I'm starting to kind of come around to the Buckeyes.
Javon?
Same headspace. I just think, just like Georgia, like we saw them fall in a big game where a lot of people were on them. Then second big game, everybody wanted to fade them, and look how that worked out. Ohio State's same exact line, and it just flipped against Oregon, and look how that turned out. Heartbreaking loss, and what do you know? You get a second chance here. Chip Kelly doesn't have to put the revenge game on his shoulders, and now he just gets to fuck over Eagles fans again in Penn State.
Good narrative. I didn't even think twice about that. I have one thought in this game, maybe from a little bit of a football X and O perspective. I think that when I watched that Ohio State Oregon game, I really didn't feel comfortable in Oregon winning that game. I thought Ohio State kind of seemed like the team in control until late, when Dylan Gabriel made some fucking plays and made some Heisman-worthy plays, I thought. Steak is updating me every week. I know he's got a Gabriel Heisman ticket. I think Gabriel is right up there in the leaderboard. I don't know if he's ahead or behind Travis Hunter. He's behind. But I guess my point is this. As much as I do respect Penn State as a team. I like Nick Singleton, but I guess he didn't really come through for me against USC. I don't think Oregon's going to be able to make those throws. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think Drew Aller is going to be able to make those throws that Dylan Gabriel made. I I think Ohio State's the better team. I think 3.5 getting the hook, like you said, Javon. After we already saw Ohio State 3.5 point favorite with Oregon and lose outright. I don't really think a lot of people are going to go back to him, but I'm not really playing the contrarian angle at all here. I think I saw somebody, Andres likes him. Yep. Ohio State money line and the under. Oh, look at you. You're going to lay that juice or you're going to parlay it. Interesting. 45.5 is a very, very low total. This Ohio State defense, I think, is pretty solid. I think they can shut down the running game. And I don't think Aller can make the throws. So I say Ohio State wins this game. Dog walk, I don't know, but I would say comfortably. 28-14 sounds pretty good to me. Ohio State might officially make my card stake. I don't know. We'll talk later, but it might even make the newsletter if you're okay with it.
Yeah, and also it's like, I'm sure this is like the squarest narrative ever, but don't you just fade fucking James Franklin in games like this till he wins one?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm good with that. Penn State plays Michigan every year, right?
I don't know.
No, they don't play Michigan this year.
No.
Damn. I was going to say it would be hilarious if Michigan was like still continue to stay as bad as they are and then still beat Penn State. That would be hilarious, but never mind. Okay.
My thing here with this comment is, doesn't Ryan Day always beat Penn State? Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like you can't say the same thing about Ryan Day because.
By the way, did you just highlight that?
Yeah, I can highlight comments now. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. Gave me a fucking heart attack though. I thought Casper was in here fucking with the mainframe. Wow, that tripped me out for a second. I was like, oh shit.
I'm gonna highlight every one of Prime's comments now.
Yeah, please don't. Okay. Toledo, Eastern Michigan. I have absolutely nothing. Steak, you had one thought about Toledo a couple weeks ago. I think we bet them or didn't bet them or something. Are you still like them or don't like them? I forget what it was.
I don't even remember. I was very impressed by how they beat the shit out of Mississippi State. And no, I faded them last week because mid-major Matt told me to take Bowling Green, so that was awesome. But no, I don't have a read on this game at all.
Oh my God, I forgot that Ohio State almost lost to Nebraska. That makes me like Ohio State even more. I love Ohio State. I mean, I hate them, but I like them. Javon, Toledo, East Michigan, anything?
Nothing.
All right, well, let's keep moving. We're almost done with the noon slate here. Stanford, NC State. NC State can get fucked. I would probably just fade Stanford at this point, going back to the East Coast. But that's it. That's all I really got. Total 46.5. Anything? Nope. Okay. Vanderbilt, Auburn. Dare I say this might be one of the most suspicious lines of the weekend? Is there something I don't know with Vanderbilt? Is Diego Pavia out?
He's playing.
In what world should Auburn be laying 6.5 to anybody?
No world. Yeah, but you know what this is reminding me of?
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
They were 2.5 to Arkansas, 2 to Oklahoma. They haven't been favored in 3 weeks. Go ahead.
It's giving me TCU, Texas Tech vibes. It's like after I punched in TCU, I know they won the game, awesome comeback, but I was like, damn, did I just get duped by thinking it's so obvious? And this feels similar to me. Like, I feel like this is so fucking obvious. And then again, I feel like everyone keeps trying to fade Vandy every game after. Maybe it's just me, but they were like 2 touchdown dogs to Kentucky and they won outright. And everybody thought Texas should blast them last week and they stayed in it. And it's just like every week Vandy keeps doing this. And I don't know. I think I'm absolutely done fading them.
I can respect that. I feel like outside of TCU, I feel like I've seen some 6.5 point home favorites covering, or maybe I'm just thinking of Indiana in back-to-back weeks. Javon, do you have any interest in fading Pavia?
No, I don't care how sharp it is. Not fading Vandy. I stuck to my guns last week. I even had a little reverse ladder on Vandy, which was nice. But Auburn is bad. I don't care how sharp it is. I'm not doing it.
Okay. All right. I think that's more than fair. Nikki Gamble says Auburn may be back. They did beat Kentucky, so they are coming off a 2-touchdown win at Kentucky, which is fairly impressive. Rough stretch of games, too, for them. At Georgia.
Kentucky sucks.
Kentucky sucks. Okay. 3 road games in a row. Michigan would never do something like that. So there we go. Respect to Auburn for getting out of their hometown and sleeping in a hotel. App State, Old Dominion. I have no thoughts on this game. Either of you? App State 3-point dogs at home. 60.5. I think Old Dominion's coming off of a really nice win. Maybe you could fade that if you wanted to. App State 2-5 ATS. Maine and Oklahoma. I have zero interest in getting involved with Oklahoma anymore. Happy they came through.
How is this a game in week 10?
Isn't it crazy?
It's just insane. What are they doing? Like, why would that happen?
Blows my mind that college football does this. Blows my mind. If you want to do it in the beginning of the year, like one game, fine. End of the year, SEC opponents do this all the time. I feel
Week
like
10 is crazy.
Yeah.
it's wild.
Don't put that whole thing on college football. It's the SEC. They're the only ones.
Well, to be fair,
ACC does it occasionally, but it's 90% SEC.
FSU played Buffalo, right? When Jordan Travis got hurt.
Yeah, they had a weird game.
That was a weird game. But they don't do it often. This the only conference I see it happen with consistently is the SEC. It's fucking crazy. Okay. Tulsa, UAB. UAB is absolutely trash. I have zero interest in getting involved here. If you guys do, feel free to speak up. Indiana on the road in East Lansing. Could it be the first time to fade Indiana? I say nay. I don't know if Curtis Rourke is playing. I don't know who's playing for Indiana. But Michigan State is coming off of a loss to Michigan. At home, though, they've been pretty scrappy. Let's see. They've pretty much beaten and covered everyone. Well, they didn't cover against FAU. We talked about already. Did not cover at Ohio State and just lost there. I mean, I have no interest in getting involved in this game. I don't think Michigan State is a live dog. If I had to guess, I think people would probably be betting. It says 75% of the bets are on the spread here with Indiana. I don't know that I believe that, especially if Indiana has a backup quarterback, despite how good they've been. Steak, are you getting doubling down with Indiana here?
I'm not doubling down with Indiana. I wouldn't be surprised because I feel like all the sharps were on Washington last week, if this was the game that Michigan State covers, but I'm not going to pay to find out in this one when I love the Hoosiers so much. I don't think Rourke's playing, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't like anything in this game. I really hope the Hoosiers keep rolling.
Javon?
Yeah, I think Aiden Childs is horrendous. That's
horrendous.
One of the quarterbacks I've kind of stuck on since the beginning of the season. I am so anti Aiden Childs, and I maybe had a little bit of hope for them last week. I didn't take them last week, but we're watching that game and no dog whatsoever. Every single mistake imaginable made. I'm good.
Also, one other thing I want to point out. Can you show me Michigan State's upcoming schedule?
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking. Just want to see if they have any easy games left. Purdue, Rutgers, Illinois. Because you remember his soundbite, Aiden Childs, when they said, your season win total is 4.5, and he said slam the over, which obviously it looks good right now. I was just can't stop thinking about how funny it would be if they lost out.
Oh, yeah, because they have 4 wins right now.
And if they lost their last 5, I just feel like that would make that sound clip so hilarious.
That's kind of interesting. I can sort of get down on that. Aiden Childs, 3 interceptions loading. Yeah, I wasn't impressed with him at FAU, or when he played against FAU, and then I saw, he went out and beat Maryland, and I was like, well, that's probably a pretty nice win, 9.5 point dog. Yeah, no, I don't
think so, Jet Broseph. I do not think so. I think he was talking about their win total for the year. I don't think so. Could be wrong. I'm looking it up after, but I really think they were talking about Michigan State's win total.
I think they were talking about the win total too, but now I'm not 100% sure because I also remember having a little bit of regret of getting involved with that game because I was like, God damn it, there's fucking bulletin board material involved. Okay, let's keep moving. Here's one. Texas Tech.
Damn, chat disagrees with me. I might be wrong.
Oh yeah, it might have been the points. Texas Tech and Iowa State. Javon, I tailed this read on Iowa State, and it is looking glorious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Need one more win out of the Cyclones. They've got 5 more opponents to do it against, and nothing is a sure win here. I mean, Kansas stinks, but they got to go on the road. Utah stinks, but they got to go on the road. Got to get this win against Texas Tech, but motherfuck, man. This spread looks massive, but I'm a little bit nervous. Should I not be nervous, especially after Iowa State almost, choked last time they were double-digit favorites against UCF? But it's because that they almost choked last time being at this number that makes me like them, and I think this could be a skull fuck opportunity. You might have a good read on Texas Tech, and I know you know the Cyclones fairly well. What do you think about this game?
I kind of wanted to go back to Texas Tech, and by back I mean the big dog at Iowa State. I would have felt a little better though, because Will Hammond, he's like a freshman quarterback that's like the new prodigy at Texas Tech. He came in because Baron Morton got hurt against TCU. I really wanted it to be him who was going to start on the road for some crazy magic, but it looks like Morton's going to be healthy and playing. So I like it a little less, but I still think Texas Tech might keep it close, especially after generational sell job at TCU. That was absolutely insane. Granted, no quarterback and no Taj Brooks for a little bit of that game, but that was bad.
Steak, Iowa State 13.5, total 56.5. What do you think? Too many points?
Too many points, probably. My initial lean was the under, and I'll be honest with you. So TCU, Texas Tech, 71 points in that game. If
69.
Texas Tech keeps it close, which I'm not so sure that they're going to, I'll be honest. I kind of think I like Texas Tech's team total under. I kind of think Iowa State completely shuts them down. Iowa State. That's my initial lean for sure. If Texas Tech keeps it close, like Javon says, I don't think it'll be in another shootout type of game like TCU game. So either way, I think I like under.
Okay. All 3 home games at Iowa State have gone over this year. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't look at the first game against North Dakota. Arkansas State, Iowa State had 52. Baylor, Iowa State had 43. UCF, Iowa State put up 38. Rocco Becht has this offense looking pretty nice, but UCF was a 73-point game. I wouldn't hate that under one bit. Also, Iowa State is coming off of a bye. You typically like fading teams off of a bye. I like lower scoring, and I kind of agree with Javon. I think this game might be a little bit close. All right, Nebraska, UCLA. Could this be a good opportunity here to maybe buy low on Nebraska after back-to-back losses with all the Dylan Raiola hype? We've got, as I've talked about before, I don't mind fading former Pac-12 teams in unfamiliar territory. We've got a pretty tough spot for UCLA here, although you kind of have to give them their credit. They were leading against Minnesota, who seems to be decent this year. They're winning this game. They blew it in the second half. They went on the road to LSU, covered, played Oregon, covered, went to Penn State, covered, and then they went to Piscataway, New Jersey, and covered, and won, beat the piss out of them. Then they get a bye week, and now they come out of the bye week, and they got to go to fucking Nebraska. I think I like the Huskers here. I think I like the under more. I don't know. I just don't know that maybe the spark has run out on Nebraska. Also, kind of a tough spot for them after what did they just do? They played at Ohio State and blew it there after winning the game or being up in the game late as 25-point dogs. I think I love this under 40. Steak, any thoughts on that?
I think the Dylan Raiola hype is dead, at least for this year. I think there's a lot of people just saying like, oh, he'll be good next year, but no one's buying in him this year. I don't know. I don't know that I think anyone is still pressing UCLA, but like as you just went through, they're covering a lot of tough spots, and then they had probably their best performance of the year last week. So it's tough. I get what you're saying. It's hard to picture UCLA going into Lincoln and being competitive, but then again, I just don't know how good Nebraska is.
So would you get down with an under?
God. I don't know, man.
He's got a weird vibe about this game.
Yeah, I do have a weird vibe about this game.
And just real quick, Bucks Boys said tough spot, ? They had a bye. I meant a tough spot more so in the sense that it's like unfamiliar territory, but you're right. They did have a bye. Wouldn't you fade after a ceiling game then?
Yeah, they just fucking covered against all Oregon, LSU, and Penn State. It's just tough. They're a tough team to fade. Maybe you would fade them here. Maybe this is the spot to fade UCLA.
Yeah. Javon, any thoughts?
I have been very anti-Nebraska, but I feel like they kind of needed, even though they lost, I feel like they needed that game at Ohio State to prevent themselves from going off the rails because they got their shit kicked in by Indiana, obviously. They got their shit kicked in a second game in a row. I feel like everything was going to turn the tides were going to turn very, very poorly. So even like Matt Rule, I hate the, I don't know, moral victory shit, but the way that he was talking at the press conferences, he was kind of excited about what he saw. I feel like that whole locker room kind of needed a competitive game, so I want to lean into them here.
Okay, I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all.
No, I don't hate that either. Yeah, I cannot. If I'm betting aside here, it's Nebraska. Someone said it's supposed to rain here all day. That kind of is annoying because then I look at the opener on Action Network. If this is accurate, it says 44 down to 40. I always kind of hate that, especially being 4 points late. So I won't get involved with the total. I hate both teams, to be honest. All right, W's. Okay. Good takes on both sides. Louisiana Monroe and Marshall. I have absolutely nothing there. Arizona UCF could be interesting. You guys have a thought on either of these two games, Steak?
I can't be the first one to talk about UCF.
Okay, Javon.
Whenever there are two teams that I think are absolutely horrendous, I take plus Chick, which ironically was Arizona, West Virginia last week. Two teams that are god awful playing each other. So I ain't taking anything but the plus on. So I would think it might be Arizona. UCF is fucking terrible.
They are terrible. Go ahead, Steak.
As someone who bet West Virginia last week, I'm tempted to say I want to tail with you, but the problem is if I bet against UCF for the first time this season, they're gonna lay 70. So I think I'll just sit them out.
Yeah. I don't know why you've had such a hard on for UCF this year. Is it RJ Harvey?
It's just one of my worst reads of the year. It's pretty simple. Well, I just thought they were gonna be like. I thought they were going to look like they looked in the second half of the TCU game all year. And since I saw that second half of the TCU game, I'm like, this is the fucking team that I think could go 9-3 and compete in the Big 12, but they're never that team. And the backup quarterbacks are every bit as bad as KJ Jefferson was, and they're fucking horrible.
You know what I'm now realizing? Go ahead, Javon. Sorry.
I was going to tell you, I was in on UCF preseason. If I wasn't a TCU fan and didn't know just how bad they were playing at the beginning of the season, after that comeback, I probably would have bought in right with you too.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking back in the offseason, and now I've put it together. This year's UCF team, in terms of offseason hype, was last year's Wisconsin. Same total, too. And a transfer QB that everybody thought would be perfect fit for the offense. Everybody was high on UCF, over 7.5 win total. And I mentioned plenty of times I heard KJ Jefferson is a cute long shot to win the Heisman at 65-1. Yeah, they're bad. They're bad, but I don't mind hearing what Javon said about two shit teams take the underdog. I don't hate that at all, but total stay away from me. Middle Tennessee and UTEP. If you are betting this game, you have a gambling problem, which is okay. A lot of us do. Please bet responsibly and call the number if you need help. Steak, Javon, Kansas State, Houston. Kansas State laying a big number on the road. Javon, you had a nice read on Houston not that long ago. Team total over against your Frogs. Then Steak, I don't know. You brought up Houston before that happened. So I don't know. Maybe you two have had a read on this Houston team. I feel like I'm going to stay out of this one for the most part. But Javon, you got any thoughts on Houston, Kansas State?
Yeah, I can't say that was really a read on Houston. That was a read on TCU in that game because their defense was fucking terrible. But I say I would like to lean into Kansas State a little bit here because they just played the close game against Kansas. Weird rivalry game that you kind of knew was going to come down to the wire somehow, some way, and Kansas would lose in heartbreaking fashion, just like they do every week. So I would think that this is the game where Kansas State just runs it down Houston's throats, and they get ready for a much bigger one next week.
Steak.
So Crutch reached out to me about this line being a little short, and I find it to be the toughest one to figure out because Houston's bad. I think what me and Javon have mostly said all year is that Houston's bad. We're still on that page, right?
Yeah.
But then again, Kansas State was only -9 against Kansas last week, and they barely won. And they're on the road going into Houston. And honestly, I just don't know what to do with this game. Obviously, I'm a Kansas State investor. I'd love to at least get that over win total. I don't think they're going to make the playoff, but yeah, that's what he said. The line's short. I don't know. I don't know if I think it's short in Houston if they're 9.5 favorites at home against Kansas. So I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I don't think it's short. Houston's 4-4 ATS. It's not like they're totally pathetic in that regard. So at home, double digits.
But look at some Houston games, man. There's some
big win at home.
Yeah.
Granted against a shit team, but they got a little something.
They beat Utah. So okay. Oh boy. I'll tell you what I like. I think Kansas State's going to score points. So the total is 45.5. Kansas State offensively has been looking pretty good. No bye weeks. So they've had 3 straight games. They put up 31, 45, 29. They just failed to cover as a 9.5-point favorite. But what I like is that this Houston's defense just saw Utah, who is terrible. Utah's offense is terrible. And not only that, though, they're bad, but what they probably do is beat you up a little bit. You know what I mean? Big motherfuckers. You didn't see much of a passing game, but now you're going to see a lot of speed. I think Kansas State's going to score points. I might have to play Kansas State's team total. I don't know if you guys love or hate that or have no opinion at all.
Done with that. I mean, the only other time they had a big team come to Houston this year, didn't they shut out Iowa State in the first half? Or I don't know. I don't know. They didn't score a touchdown, but at least field goals.
All right. No strong read in that one. Here are a couple interesting games coming up. The pride of Florida, Florida State and the Gators, going to be in the 3:30 slot here in probably the least. Well, I don't know. Florida's got a little something to prove, I guess, with this new quarterback. UNC FSU, I have zero thoughts in. If you guys do, feel free. Otherwise, let's talk Florida, Georgia. Steak?
I can't bet FSU. You know that. I'll stay away from that.
Okay. And then what about Florida, Georgia?
I'm interested to hear Devon's take. I don't know. This is the game I love for Florida to pull an upset. I don't love the matchup for DJ Lagway at all, obviously. I don't know if I have much opinion on the line. I guess I wouldn't have been shocked if the Gators didn't play so well against Kentucky to see maybe them be 21-point dogs, but that's really it. That's all I got.
I have a thought, but I'll let Javon go first. Javon, first, if you have anything on FSU, North Carolina, feel free. Otherwise, Florida, Georgia.
Yeah, I got nothing in FSU, UNC. Fuck both those teams, but I will be doing it with Florida this week. I love it. And I feel like this is the game. I kind of like that DJ Lagway is DJ Lagway because I feel like there's going to be certain possessions where they're just in a box and can't do shit. But if you look at like who Georgia has had the most and least success against, the teams that are kind of fundamentally sound on offense, just a good offense that can consistently do things, like Texas, like Clemson, they didn't really have much they could do. The teams that'll, I don't know, not be as consistent, but they'll give you a couple explosives down the field, have given them some trouble. So I feel like he might not get the most consistent DJ Lagway game, but I feel like there's going to be a couple big plays, whether it's with his legs, whether it's with his arm, whether it's a big Jaden Ball run, who knows? So I'm in on the Gators. This is like 4 years since they've been competitive in this game. I do think the line's a little short too. I was expecting 20.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have a thought, and I'm going to push back a little bit. Not saying I'm going to put a unit on this game, but my thought could be this. I didn't watch that Georgia-Texas game. I did the complete opposite of watching that. I went to watch a love movie with my wife, W Husband. I couldn't believe, though, when I went to take a piss and I saw the score. I actually thought it was a typo. Dare I say that a Georgia Bulldog team after this Alabama loss and a somewhat like sluggish, close scare the next 2 weeks of Auburn and Mississippi State, dare I say this was a team that couldn't wait to punch Texas in the fucking face in Texas. And I kind of feel like they were being disrespected, rightfully so. And they wanted that game so badly, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Now I almost feel like, fuck, Georgia's kind of back to being Georgia. Georgia's kind of back to being that. What were they odds-wise to win the national championship beginning of the year? Like plus 270 or something stupid. I would imagine they were the favorite. And from what I've watched of Georgia this year, I haven't been overly impressed at all. But I'm a little worried now that they've got that fuck you attitude. And I mean, we're coming to the end of the season here. What do we have? 3 more weeks left? Oh no, they've got 4 more games. They got Ole Miss next. They got Ole Miss next, and then they got Tennessee at home. And then it's UMass and Georgia Tech. They got nobodies. But I think they got 4 weeks right here, 4 games, where they're just going to go in fuck you mode. And for that reason, I'm a little concerned for Florida. I kind of agree with what you said, Javon. Like 17 on a neutral is maybe seems a little short. I only maybe disagree because of what Florida just did the week before. And I think you guys said it, Kentucky sucks. But this is a Florida team that's looked really good the last 4 weeks, despite losing to Tennessee. I mean, on the road, they were there. They were in overtime. So I think maybe that's a couple points of an adjustment to respect Florida for their recent performances. Anyways, the long and short of it is, I wouldn't want to put anything against Georgia in these next 4 weeks. It could be a fuck you, pay me type of stretch. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, but anyways, we can keep moving. All right, let's see here. Oregon and Michigan. Oregon 16. Somebody asked, by the way, if we talked about this game. No, we have not. So I hope you're still here in the chat. If you are, welcome to the board review. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, make sure you're subscribing to the page. Appreciate it. If you're watching on Twitter, like, retweet. We always appreciate the engagement. And then if you're on Twitch, appreciate you being here. And thank you to everybody who's subscribing. Oregon 16 on the road in Michigan, total 45. Michigan just got a nice win there. They needed it for a team that's been absolutely fucking terrible this season after winning the national championship. 24-17, they covered as a 3-point favorite against Michigan State. Now they got Oregon coming in. Well, who else does Oregon have on their schedule to prove it? Not really anybody. I mean, a trip to Wisconsin is going to be interesting, but Maryland, Washington, whatever. I think it's the last game. Well, not the last game, but it's like the game they really get up for again for their audition to show people that they're not fucking around. I kind of like Oregon to dog walk them here. Steak, you're the Oregon guy of this bunch. How do you feel about the Ducks going into Ann Arbor this weekend?
Don't love it.
Oh,
Wow. Nah, this sort of feels like the game to me a little bit where they could have a scare. I don't know if I can take. I don't know if I'm buying the Boise State game so early in the season being a scare, and obviously, no, you can't call it Ohio State game a scare. This feels maybe like the game to me where they get a scare. Maybe they're up one possession going into the fourth quarter. Seems like that type of game to me. I don't know how Michigan's going to get it done, but it's definitely not going to be passing for 300 yards. We all know that. But yeah, I think I'd probably take Michigan plus 16 here.
Doesn't sound like you're super confident in it.
I haven't punched anything in yet for the week.
No, I know. But there are some things where you definitely look and you're liking, like you're licking your chops. This doesn't feel like a licking your chop type of game.
No, for me, I'm only predicting Oregon sleepwalking a little bit.
This is interesting. Oregon's first true road game at 1-6 Purdue didn't really do it for me. That's fair. Javon, curious to hear what you have to say about this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, whenever I see a line bouncing between like just above 2 touchdowns at 15, 15 and a half, 16, those have been the teams that have almost lost outright, I think 9 times out of 10 so far this season. So my head immediately takes me there, but I will say the pushback for me and why I'm probably not taking Michigan, they, like Steak said it, they took their foot off the gas so early in that game against Illinois. I feel like it's probably only one reason for that. You got a quarterback that's in the Heisman race and now gaining some serious steam. You probably got something up your sleeve for this game. So I mean, I think Michigan honestly scores a little bit too, and I think Oregon is going to have to put the foot on the gas the whole game, and they've got something up their sleeve. So I kind of like points.
Ooh, Steak, you're bobbing your head.
Don't hate it.
Yeah, okay.
I just wanted to be right that Oregon has something up their sleeve because I want this Heisman ticket to cash.
Yeah, no shit. Okay, lean points. Steak's a little worried about Oregon. I like Oregon. Don't know that I'm going to play it though. All right, Coastal Carolina, Troy, Coastal 4.5 on the road. Any thoughts on that one? Otherwise, we'll move on.
Don't think so.
Okay, Troy's terrible. You tell me that every week. Navy bounced back against Rice after getting their dick kicked in. I mean, listen, I was there. I felt terrible for Navy. Everybody in the stadium kind of knew that was coming, but 5 turnovers was rough. I think almost all fumbles too, even one on a punt return. It would be Navy or nothing for me here. I don't know how square it is. I don't know that I really care. I think Rice is coming off of a win. Let's see. Oh no, they lost. No, Rice sucks.
Rice sucks. Yeah, they go on the list.
Okay, Rice is on the list. Yeah, Navy might be in a bounce back spot. Definitely tune it up and clean up the turnovers. Steak or Javon, any thoughts on this?
I don't know. That line creeping back. I think it opened, I saw it earlier, like 13 and a half, 14.
Oh, no,
Creeping
you're leaning
against
Rice.
Rice. One thing, because, I mean, hand up, I invested in them preseason, very wrong. But I think they started to turn a corner, at least defensively, the last couple of weeks, which was surprising to me. And I know the triple option's a different beast, and Navy's offense is a different beast, but they've been really fucking good against the run for the most part as of late. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised the defense is pretty locked in this game.
Fuck. Steak, any thoughts?
I won't take. Had no intention to take Navy anyway, so even if I did, that probably would have talked me off a little bit. I agree that the line creeping back is weird, and I also agree that the bounce back spot's kind of obvious. I can't bet this game. I definitely can't bet Rice.
Wyoming, New Mexico. I have zero thoughts on. Wyoming is absolutely terrible. Both teams are total 60.5. I don't know if you guys think that's high. Any thoughts?
Wyoming goes on the list. I do think that total's a little high.
Okay. UMass, Mississippi State, no interest. Arizona State, Oklahoma State, interesting game there. I have zero interest in giving any of my Oklahoma State money back on their under win total. Total 58.5. You guys have thoughts on either of these games?
What do you think, Javon, about Oklahoma State?
I got probably my one Oklahoma State bet in of the season, backing them against BYU, and I will take it and run because, I mean, they should be sharp at home, seem sharp at home, I guess, kind of, but I don't want to fade Arizona State either.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't either, and I think Oklahoma State's dead. I've been saying it every week, even though they covered against BYU. I just think they're fucking dead.
I think they're dead too, but they got a little spark with that backup quarterback, though. I mean, he was okay. All right. Hawaii, Fresno. Steak, you've been on Fresno or on and off, I guess, a few times. You like them at all here against Hawaii?
Kinda.
Okay. It's a big spread.
Yeah, I kind of do. Kind of think it's a lot of respect.
Javon, anything on Fresno, Hawaii?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit of respect. It's just Hawaii off the island has been pitiful this year. So, like, I mean, I'm not taking a chance putting my money on them, but
no.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Clemson, Louisville. Please don't tell me Louisville's going to win this game. We got Clemson over 9, I think 9 wins, and I have Louisville under 8.5. Steak, you sent me a fucking screenshot of your friend's dad saying, "Hey, thanks for putting me on Louisville under 8 wins when Boston College was up 21-0 on them." And I said, "No, there's no way he just said that. There's no way he just said that."
I'm not to blame though.
No. That's why I said he, not you. He. A little upset with well, I mean, what are you going to do? It's not his fault.
And he's in the mafia, so we can't talk shit to him.
Oh, yeah. There's like probably a 50-50 chance that that's true. Louisville scares me. This line scares me. They're much better than I expected them to be. I hate having this ticket, despite it being one game from cashing. Please don't tell me Clemson's going to get upset. Steak, tell me it's not happening.
I don't think it's happening.
Okay.
Don't think it's happening. I think this is a good enough matchup where I think it might be Clemson showcase game because they've been playing really, really good football, but really against nobody, and nobody's watching. They're beating Virginia's and Stanford.
Oh, wow, you're right.
And Florida States. And the last time we all saw them, and I just want to be clear, I'm not saying this is close to the Georgia game, but the last time everyone watched Clemson, they played Georgia. I think a lot of people are going to be watching this game. And honestly, I really like Clemson to put on a show. I like them to win and cover.
Javon?
Yeah, I want to give you, maybe this is a little more of a preseason nugget than now, but I was talking with some of my friends that work in like the TCU analytics department because they worked with Garrett Riley a lot in the year that he was there. Apparently, he goes into every new job with a 2-year plan. So, like, with TCU, he knew he was going to be out of there, so he kind of expedited it for Duggan. Plus, Sonny Dykes kind of already had the offense in a year before. But second half of the season, when he was at SMU for his second year, when he was at TCU towards the end of the year, and now that he's second year with Cade Klubnik and getting the reins, they started to really pick it up a lot. So I do not want to fade this Clemson offense at all in any of those games, including this one, including Virginia Tech, including South Carolina, who they also saw last year. So I will not be doing that.
I think that's
Is Clemson Virginia Tech next week?
Next week, I think. So, I mean, big game. Also, I mean, Louisville, I guess more nugget for them that I can't get out of my head. They've kept every big game that they've played within a possession. It kept Notre Dame, didn't cover because Notre Dame was 6.5, but they kept Notre Dame 7 points. They kept SMU 7 points. They kept Miami 7 points.
What was the spread in Miami, Louisville?
Miami was 3.5.
Yeah, 4, something like that.
Bro, 4-point favorites, Miami, and Clemson is 10.5-point favorites. I understand Clemson is at home. That's a respectful ass spread. I think you're going to get a Clemson dog walking. I actually think I love Clemson.
I like that W inside info that that Javon just let us know about. Also, really quick to touch on this, I do say I don't like bidding on teams after a bye. I kind of do with what both of you just said. Steak pointing out Clemson's schedule of playing a bunch of fucking nobodies, trying to get out of there with wins and stay healthy. And then on top of the Garrett Riley thing, coming out of the bye week, I think this offense probably throws everything they have out there. I love it. All right. I feel much better about it now. Don't know if I'm going to double down, but we'll see. Wisconsin.
Who's better? Sorry, but I just want to address this comment. Who would be favored on a neutral, Miami or Clemson?
I think
Clemson.
I'm going to take Clemson by like 1.5. What do you think?
I thought most people would have said Miami.
Clemson for sure. Clemson -2. I think that's
2.
a good line. What's Miami's record?
They haven't lost, have they?
They haven't lost?
No.
They've just come close to it?
No.
See, there it is. Rambo. Miami -1 is the look ahead. So Miami -1 is the look ahead. Miami at home is 4 against Louisville, moves to 5.5.
No. Miami was on the road.
I'm sorry. Miami on the road, -4 moves to 5.5. Clemson at home, -10.5.
Yeah.
That's just not adding up. Any way you slice it, there's 3 points missing there. I just think it's a pretty crazy line.
Yeah, it might be. All right. Well, I like it for what it's worth, Steak. The look ahead, 8.5. Bet up to 10.5, 11.
Clemson's going to win this game by a lot.
Okay, so you like this team. All right, let's keep moving and finish strong. It is at noon. Thank you again for everybody for tuning in. Javon, thank you for joining. Steak, thank you for making the time as always. W New Mike. All right, we'll finish strong here. Power Hour, Wisconsin, Iowa. I think Cade McNamara fucking sucks. I know I bet Wisconsin too much, and I'm not saying I'm going to here, but I don't like Iowa. I'm out on Iowa. Even though they came through and they woke up against Northwestern for us, I don't like Iowa. Steak, any thoughts on this? Total 40.5.
I like Iowa this year.
Oh, God, you fucking loser.
I just like them. I like that they're putting a little more focus on scoring the football, which God knows they needed. In this game specifically, though, God, I don't know. This feels like, is there any more game that I feel like it's a coin flip than this one?
No.
This week?
Well, I'll tell you.
Northwestern Purdue.
Yeah. True.
I hate Cade McNamara too, but I don't think he's playing. He's concussed. So I don't know if he's taking a snap for Iowa again. And you know what I really hate? Because Kirk Ferentz, I like Kirk Ferentz, but he talked about rotating quarterbacks. He said they did it once. They'll be open to doing it again. I hate that, especially for Iowa all teams. I think I honestly might. Maybe it's square because Iowa blows and you're going to have backup quarterbacks, but I kind of want to get involved with Wisconsin.
You don't even have to tell D-Gen fucking half the time. He's in. D-Gen's in. He's already punched it in, dude. Rip off your shirt. Underneath it's a fucking Wisconsin jersey. I love it.
I don't know why I like Luke Fickell so much. He's did absolutely nothing to fucking prove me right with the confidence I had in him coming here. Next take is going to tell you he is betting Tobias Harris revenge game. Love it. Fuck the Iowa Hawkeyes. No offense, Iowa, by the way. I'm just kind of out on Cade McNamara despite him not starting. A&M in South Carolina. Thank you, gentlemen. I got to tell you, I didn't love fading LSU. I thought maybe they'd be getting right. Steak, you were adamant about putting in the newsletter. Javon, I believe you co-signed the Aggies. You like Colin Klein and in the offense there. I think they had to pull the old switcheroo and get Wegman out of there, who fucking sucks. The backup dude is awesome. I saw some highlights of him. So anyways, Aggies on the road against South Carolina. Dare I say this line might be short. Steak?
The line is short for sure. I don't. Who's playing QB this week, Javon?
I don't know, but I mean, if there's any team that I really don't care if they do the quarterback switcheroo thing, I think it's them. They're the only team I don't give a shit. Which honestly, like Marcel Reed didn't even look that good. They just happened to get turnovers that put them at the LSU 20 every single drive.
Fair enough.
I want to say this though. He did look that good, but it was insane how easy LSU was making it on him. Like he was running up the middle, dude. I've never seen anything like that. When you're winning a game but I can't agree that he didn't look good. I just couldn't believe how bad
Yeah.
the LSU.
I won't say he didn't. I wouldn't say he didn't look good. He just doesn't look like he came in. I saw tweets saying like, you take out Wegman, Marcel Reed comes in, leads 3 scoring drives. Like, let's be real. He went 20 yards. He looked better than Wegman. He ran well, but other than that, I mean, he wasn't that amazing.
It almost felt like they were literally running the Wildcat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was working so
He had
well.
one bomb. He had one nice bomb that looked good.
Yeah.
But okay, fair enough. So back to the original point. You don't care who's playing quarterback for the Aggies, Javon?
Yeah. I don't care if they rotate him in or if they have to pull him, Marcel Reed, which I doubt they do if they start him, but I'll be squaring up with A&M.
Wow. Okay. Is that because you don't respect South Carolina at all, or you just are a believer in the Aggies?
A little bit of both. I really don't respect South Carolina, and I think you brought this up because a comment in chat's talking about it. I feel like this is the most obvious home dog contrarian-ish play of the week, which I have now hopped on with you and trying my best to avoid.
You guys want to guess what game it reminds me of from a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I already know what you're going to say. LSU, Arkansas.
That's exactly what I'm going to say.
Wow. Yeah, Javon, I'm glad you pointed that out because we're almost at the end of the slate here, and I haven't really noticed a game like that, and this could be the one. And yes, I want to be clear. We Steak and I are contrarian in our blood. We like to bet contrarian. We still want to bet contrarian. We're not giving up on contrarian. It's the most obvious contrarian plays because contrarian betting has become so public and mainstream. I think it's just, as Steak likes to say, being contrarian can't be that easy. So the Baylor -3, the UCF -1.5. Granted, those examples are against the same team, but there are other examples out there. That's what I want to stay away from. So it's a very interesting point, Javon. I'm kind of with it. All right. So on that note, if we got a 2.5-point dog here that ain't covering, does that mean Washington is going to whoop that USC Trojan ass? Total 55, USC hosting or at Washington, laying 2.5. Steak, what do you think?
I'm not going to do it, but if you want to do it, that's fine. I'm out on USC, obviously. I do think they should be able to beat Washington. I like Miller Moss so much more than Will Rogers.
Kind of agree.
But I get what you're saying, and maybe you could argue the line's a little short, even though I don't know if you can. Pretty similar teams. I'm not going to bet it at all, but if you want to back Washington, I'll support you on that.
Javon?
You know, I kind of want to just take the over in this game. A couple teams that I think are getting their little break from hard-nosed SEC football. Granted, like USC's played like Maryland in the mix and a couple of those teams, so it's not like they're playing Michigan and all the hard-nosed teams every game. But now you get to go back to the West Coast and throw the fucking ball.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good point.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, and Steak, if you're scared to fade USC, I would imagine you have to like points in this game if you like Miller Moss to do his thing. Somebody asked if we've talked Tennessee, Kentucky yet. No, we have not. They are the third to last game on the board. Again, we're going to finish strong here. Tennessee -16.5, total 45.5. I have zero thoughts on this game. Steak?
I probably would be pretty comfortable fading Kentucky.
Just blind fade Kentucky from here on out?
Yeah.
Okay. Javon?
Yeah, I would too. Kentucky sucks. Florida was also very close, similar line at Neyland and almost won with half the offense out. So I would assume or would hope that this is the game that they don't let get to overtime.
Kind of with you guys on that. Zach T real quick said, remember how bad Washington defense is? Iowa scored 40 on them. Fair enough. Good point. TCU, Baylor. TCU 3-point dogs on the road. Javon, you're a TCU guy. Do you have any thoughts on your team in this spot? Total 64.5.
If there was anything in the running for, I guess, most contrarian looking play on the board that I've seen talks about, it's probably this one. And my first inkling was to fade TCU, but it seemed pretty obvious. And you know what I hate too about this, which I guess I love as a TCU guy. You know, I've talked to you about how when TCU's bad, they always somehow play Texas Tech crazy games. They play them pretty well. They didn't cover last week, but they won the game. Insane fashion. When they go to Baylor, ever since 2014, when it was the playoff year that they blew like a 20-something point lead and crazy only loss of the season, weird shit has happened every single time they went to Waco. The last time they went to Waco was the emergency field goal game for the actual college football playoff year. Before that, they're having one of their worst stretches of the season in like COVID time. They couldn't score. They lost like 3 out of 4 to start the season. They went to Baylor, magically went up 30-0. Before that, they were fucking awful. Jalen Reagor punt return was the only touchdown in the game. Weird shit happens. So like I feel like that's a trend that is going to continue. So I kind of lean TCU in this game.
Wow. Pretty interesting take. Steak?
I'm okay with it. I'm definitely
Yeah.
okay with it.
Total 64.5 kind of makes me think points are going to be scored, although the Baylor defense is not what we thought it was. But I kind of like buying TCU after pulling out that win last week. Nice Jalen Reagor mention, by the way. Minnesota Vikings legend. Isn't that right, Steak?
Yeah, man. Fucking TCU really pumps out those wide receivers.
Pitt, SMU, Pitt late night. Dare I say, maybe I was a week early on wanting to lay it with SMU. Is okay? 7.5 for Pitt, who's 6-1 ATS and has been fucking awesome. I don't think the Pitt defense is ready for the Stangs. Also, I believe SMU just turned the ball over 5 times against Duke. I like them to clean it up, just like I like Navy to clean it up. I like SMU minus 7.5. One of you tell me not to fade Pitt.
Not doing it. I'm not doing it. I think SMU rolls.
But you're not going to do it?
No, I'm not telling you not to fade Pitt. I'm doing it. I'm absolutely doing it. If there's a game I'd be punching in today, it'd be this one.
Wow. Okay, that's the POD, Devon.
Yeah, I will say, like, fading Pitt, another one of those that's been sharp or seemed sharp most of the year. But SMU 7.5, getting to 7.5, climbing over the touchdown line with their quarterback injured. He's probably going to play, and then their wide receiver 1 out for the year or out for a while.
No. Is that the Nick Nash guy? No, that's San Jose State. Who's their
Jake Bailey.
Oh yeah, he's good.
They already have their NFL draft pick tight end out for the year. I think 2 weeks ago before now. But I was really weird. I thought the line was going to tick back towards Pitt. Kevin Jennings is banged up and Bailey's going to be out, but it went the other way. That feels pretty important. I'm a little shocked this total's in the 50s, to be honest with you. I know it's barely hanging on, but I thought we would have seen 60s.
Well, the look ahead is 62.5, so maybe it came down 4 points because of those players being out.
But then the line doesn't move to SMU at all. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I think the Stangs roll. I don't care who's playing quarterback. All right, last game, Colorado State, Nevada. You guys have any thoughts? Very quick. I see it's 12-12. We got to shut it down and get out of here.
Nah.
I like the over.
Like the over. All right. Gentlemen, we've run very long. Javon, I know you got to get to PTL 12:30. Everybody make sure you head over there. Really appreciate you taking the time, man. Thank you, and best of luck. We'll be tuning in at 12:30 Behind the Lines on the Book It Twitch channel. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it.
Take it easy. Steak, appreciate it. Thank you. I will chat with you later tonight. Emergency meeting to talk NFL, and we will release that on the podcast. Have a great week. Give us the dog of the day. Follow Steak Friend on Twitter at Steak Friend with 2 A's. W New Mike. Take it easy, Steak. All right, guys. Who's the next Tyrone Tracy? Ooh, I don't know. That's fun. All right. Thank you very much for hanging out. You guys are awesome. The college football reads have been stellar this year, and I think that it speaks volumes that we take the time and we delve into the board, dive in. I always wonder if I use that word delve properly. Dive into the board, and again, appreciate having Javon come on. And you guys interacting and contributing. We're people helping people. We're trying to win units as a unit. You know what's up. But I got to tell you, we absolutely have to get right in the NFL. It has been a dick kicking amongst all dick kickings that we've experienced, at least since we've been doing the newsletter for in year 4 here. So we'll be doing the podcast later. Make sure to subscribe. Basketball on Monday. Also, yes, college basketball on Monday. And on that note, we will be having Freddie Mills write up a little season opener preview for us. Very honored to have Freddie Mills. My opinion, he's one of the sharpest guys. Nice, normal, humble dude. You know, I never met him in person, but that's my take on him, at least from social media. Subscribe to the newsletter if you haven't already. Plays will be out Friday. 35-18-1 college football. We'll have Freddie's write-ups on Monday morning, which will be great. So we'll post that. We'll give you a little double decker. I don't know. You'll get 2 newsletters next week. I don't know what I'm trying to fucking say. Give me a break. All right. ladies and gentlemen, I feel like, you know what? I know BTL isn't going on yet, but out of respect for Javon, I'm going to send you over to book it because they deserve that much. Really appreciate him coming on. So I'll send you over to book it. I would imagine they're probably live. Thank you guys for hanging out. Have a great day. And I will chat with you later. I'm going to be Corp this afternoon, but I will dive in and see if I can find another Jokic assist. It's on a double decker. No, it's not. No NHL or NBA. Dig that. I'm sorry. I got to run. But I'm going to look at the board. Beeman likes the Bulls. All right. I'm going to look at the board. Get in the Discord if you're not already. We'll chat in there. There's a lot of smart people in there fucking chopping it up, but I'll be on Twitter later. I'm going to look at the board while I'm on my commute into the city, and I'll chat with you guys later. All right. Peace.